If you've been watching The Silly Kitchen for a while, you know that I promised several schnitzel recipes. I started with the Polish cutlet version. I did some butterfly chicken schnitzel. I can't remember what else I've done. But today I just want to show you going back to basics, but adding a little bit of spice and fun into your coating or breading of a pork schnitzel. There are so many options. This is what I decided to do. My mixture here is simple. I am using a combination of regular and panko breadcrumbs, Cajun seasoning, and a whole bunch of stinky parm, the stuff that you find on the shelf in the grocery store. Trust me, it works really well. In order to really taste the Parmesan part of this, you really do need to use quite a bit. So make sure that you're generous with your Parmesan. When it comes to the Cajun spices, that one you can kind of pull back a little bit if you aren't interested in having that full spice. So that one is really dependent on your palate and how much spice you like. I leave that set aside and I give my pork chops a good spanking, or tenderizing as they call it, as thin or as thick as you want them, and season both sides with salt and pepper. Into flour they go, coated on all sides, over to the egg wash and a nice little drench and dip there, and then over to that breadcrumb mixture. I like to make sure that I give it a good push onto the pork chop so that all of those breadcrumbs stick onto the chop as best as possible. So yeah, give it a little push, make sure it's all on there, and make sure your pan is nice and hot before adding your schnitzel. I like to do a really nice, just shallow fry in a frying pan at home. I don't have a deep fryer, but this works really well. You just have to make sure that your oil is nice and hot when you put it in. It's only going to take a couple minutes per side, maybe 4 or so, depending how thick your chop is, and you know it's ready to go to flip when that bottom part is nice and golden brown. That is what you're looking for before you flip it to the other side. If you're worried, just get out a meat thermometer, check your internal temperature. But I do also like to make sure that once it's done frying, I transfer it over to a drying rack, kind of like what you would use for cookies. I don't bake, but that's what I assume this rack is for. And that way you're not going to get your schnitzel all soggy if you're just going to put it onto some kind of a plate or platter. Especially when you're making big batches, this is a great way to cool them down. Although it's a bit of a labor of love and you're gonna have a bunch of dishes to make and a bit of a mess, because I don't know how to make schnitzel without making a mess, I really highly recommend and truly believe that making schnitzel at home is just so much better than any kind of store-bought stuff. You can do what you want with the flavors, and there's just something really comforting about knowing that I made this, or that you made this and you shared it with your family and friends. Thank you for watching The Silly Kitchen. Hit that subscribe button, and I will see you again soon.